Welcome to Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. And it looks like the Denver Broncos are at it again, and so is Sports Talk Radio. The lunacy never stops. This time it looks like the brain trust over at Dove Valley is looking at making Gary Kubiak the offensive coordinator while bringing in yet another puppet, basically to run the defense. My question is always, why can't people just do what they're good at? I think Gary Kubiak is good with player personnel, but there's this aspiration to be an offensive coordinator. I'm not sold on Gary Kubiak's offensive coordinator ability, number one, although Case Keenum would be a good quarterback for that system. Now, believe it or not, there's trade talk. There's this talk out there of trading Von Miller to the Ravens to get Joe Flacco in like some kind of an exchange, another one of these crazy harebrained deals. Quite frankly, I just don't see Joe Flacco doing well in a Gary Kubiak system, even though they work together. I see the quarterback I see that would work the best is their new one that they got in the draft. I mean, he's more of the rollout guy, But anyway, just craziness coming from Denver. So this is the thinking. This is how it goes down. So I could see Gary Kubiak and John Elway. Why get somebody, to act as the, head coach? Well, let's just bring a defensive guy in. And, of course, let's just say it's the defensive coordinator for the Bears. We bring this guy in. Could you imagine how the interview would go? It'd be something like this. Hey, we got this great idea. Me and John, we're going to run the offense. We're going to get everything taken care of. Don't worry about it. All you have to do is run just do what you're doing in Chicago. You can run keep running it. We have a great defense. You can, something to build off. It'd be a great job for you. And of course, anybody with a brain in their head would be like, what? Okay, so you want me to be a head coach, but you want me to be a defensive coordinator in reality, so that when you guys screw the offense up, I'm the guy, who's left out to dry. I don't think so. So, I mean, I could see this kind of an idea being hatched out at Dove Valley because it's so stupid, and that's the kind of ridiculousness that's going on these days. And just to let the Mile High report know, I was right all along on their stupid keep the offensive line bullshit that they were writing about. The Pittsburgh Steelers offensive line coach was one of the first coaches that the Denver Broncos are going to be talking to. Of course, the offensive line is the league's worst. I've been trying to explain, and you can get all the quarterbacks you want. And I'm going to let's do a little quarterback obsessing, because all the talk out there is, well, they don't have a quarterback. Well, you know what? Why don't we take a look at what was really worked in this league? Look at San Francisco back in their heyday. Look at the Patriots. Look at Kansas City. Where in San Francisco's case, they had a coaching system. I always say you need the system and the personnel first. That's the cart. Then you can put the horse in front of it, which is your quarterback. You get a quarterback that fits that system. And so what Walsh did is he had built up the team from the lines out, and they inserted Montana. What did the Patriots do? They had a Super Bowl caliber team, a team that Bill Belichick took over from Bill Parcells and just expanded on it. So you could fit him, and he had a system ready to go. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs. They had Alex Smith, not a bad quarterback. They had a good system. So they went up and brought in somebody into a system. That's the way to do it. And I think Josh Rosen's in a lot of trouble. He's in a crappy organization, and I have a feeling what's going to happen to him if you get crappy leadership and he doesn't pan out, and it wouldn't be necessarily his fault. But sooner or later the finger will be pointed at him as well, I didn't pick Josh Rosen. That wasn't my choice. He's not, flourishing in our system, And this is what happens. And I could see Josh Rosen, he could, maybe not, but most likely, because this is typically what happens with quarterbacks on crappy organizations, But, what teams should do is say, okay, Rosen, we'll bring you in. We'll bring you in as, a developmental backup. You can be the backup. You could be the future heir. They should give these quarterbacks who were drafted in shitty situations a second chance, I think, anyway. And this isn't a cheerleading session for Rosen. I'm just saying the situation. So, but back to this crazy idea of Kubiak. And let's remember that it was Kubiak who wanted to make Peyton Manning something he wasn't, a rolling out, bootlegging. It was ridiculous. And yet he wanted to do that. Just the mindlessness. Plus, people, there's going to be some mindless Bronco fans out there. They're going to say, well, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Well, or offensive coordinator. Head coach, that was it. Yeah, head coach, I'm sorry. He's a Super Bowl winning head coach. Well, okay, did they win because of him? Or did they actually win because of Wade Phillips? Let's keep it real. Come on. So, anyway, it's just another just another stupidly hatched idea. Why don't you keep Gary Kubiak? Well, I don't know. I guess it's up to him. I guess they have delusions of grandeur. Why can't you do what you're doing good? You're like a good player personnel guy behind the scenes, working with scouting departments. Find yourself somebody with a system, and tell Elway to stop meddling. Get yourself a crew in there that can put together a system. And if you can make it work with somebody like Case Keenum, and let me get into the Case Keenum thing here. Like I said, I've said it over and over. I'm on record. I said when they decided to get Case Keenum, I said, well, that was a good idea, but he is going to fail in this environment because the environment is not a quarterback-friendly environment right now. It's not the quarterback, and you got to look at yourself. Minnesota got a lot out of him because they did a playbook designed around him. When he got here, week 1, he was throwing the ball all over the place, and this kept going on. And actually, he wasn't doing bad, but they told him because he threw 3 picks, they put a leash on him. But yet they wanted him to throw the ball all over the place. And what do you expect? Plus, he's behind the worst offensive line ever. For pass blocking. What did you expect? I said before the season, even before preseason, that they would be calling for his head by week 5 because it would not work. And look at everybody was clamoring for Kirk Cousins. What the fuck did he do? He didn't even get his team into the playoffs. That's on you. So, they need a system. They need something. They need to do like what Walsh did. They need to get the team built up first. They need a system in place first. And then get the kind of quarterback that would fit that system. If you want a guy that like a Russell Wilson who can scramble out, then that's the system you go with. If you want somebody like Tom Brady or the Chargers quarterback Rivers, who stays in the pocket, and that's what they do. Then you get that kind of guy. But it's just. You can't. Anyway, I'm just. It's just a very frustrating situation when nobody will do anything right, and this whole idea of Gary Kubiak being the offensive coordinator, and it does seem like they hatched this out, and I think that was the reason why Vance Joseph got fired out only after 2 seasons because they thought, well, let's just take it over. I just don't see who are they going to get that would go for that. So you're making me the head coach. I have no really say in the offense, side of the football, which. Other than maybe I'm an offensive line coach and I help your offensive line out, I don't think this guy's going to get hired just for that. But I think what the idea is they want somebody to be a defensive coordinator while John Elway and Gary Kubiak run an offense, and I don't think they can. I don't think there's any identity between the two of them. What kind of offense, are they going to get are they going to trade Von Miller for Joe Flacco? It's not going to work. He's a pocket quarterback, and Gary Kubiak is a different type of offense where it's a kind of a rollout bootleg offense. It's mindlessness over at Dove Valley.